Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a really fantastic way to automate user training in Salesforce. Look, if you're an admin or an operations leader, you already know how absolutely crucial it is to get your new hires up to speed quickly. We're going to explore a brilliant use case detailed by Certify CRM, and it involves using the free Trailhead tracker app right from the App Exchange. So instead of sitting there manually assigning learning modules one by one, we're going to walk through exactly how you can automate the entire process using Salesforce's Process Builder.
So here's the big question driving our analysis today. How do you turn a brand new hire into a Salesforce trailblazer on literally day one without creating an absolute mountain of manual admin work for yourself? Because really, the ultimate goal of onboarding operations is immediate and effective employee empowerment. When a new user starts using Salesforce at your company, you want to hand them that essential training to help them hit the ground running right out of the gate. But trying to do that manually for every single new hire? Yeah, that's just not scalable. Automation is absolutely the key here.
All right, here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the onboarding challenge. 2, setting up Process Builder. 3, the 1-hour delay trick. 4, scheduling future badges. And finally, 5, we'll look at some real-world troubleshooting.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the Onboarding Challenge, a month of milestones. Okay, let's dive right into this. Our core challenge isn't just about assigning a single badge. We actually want to create a structured, fully automated, month-long training path for our new Salesforce users. Notice the rhythm of this learning journey. We want to automatically drop specific badges right into a new user's queue at strategic intervals. As you can see, on day 1, we want to assign Salesforce Cloud benefits. Fast forward to day 7, and they'll get the Salesforce User Tour. By day 14, they tackle accounts and contacts for Lightning Experience. And then on day 30, they round out their very first month with Chatter for Lightning Experience. Crucially, for that first badge, we want to give them exactly 7 days to complete it. It's a perfect, totally digestible pace for new hire. Moving on to Section 2, setting up Process Builder, the foundation. Setting this all up is actually wonderfully straightforward if you just follow the logic. Step 1, we create a new process and name it New Starter Month 1 Trailhead Badges. We also need to set the process to start when a record changes. Now for step 2, we click Add Object, select the user object, and configure it so it only starts the process when a record is created. And then step 3, we add our criteria. And here's a fun fact for you. There is actually no criteria. We literally just want to add the badges for every single new user. So we select No Criteria, just execute the actions, and hit Save. The system is now actively listening for any brand new user account to pop up. Which brings us to Section 3, the 1-hour delay trick, avoiding the rookie trap. All right, pay close attention because we've reached a totally pivotal moment in our build. We're about to cover what might just be the biggest gotcha in this entire setup. It's a trap that trips up a lot of really well-meaning admins. You might be super tempted to add an immediate action to assign that first badge the absolute second the user is created. But if you do that, it actually results in an error. Why? Well, because we're triggering this process on the creation of the new user account. If we attempt to immediately assign a badge to a user that hasn't fully finished being created in the backend, the process just won't be able to find their new user ID yet. So what's the brilliant workaround? We just skip the immediate action entirely. Instead, we use a scheduled action and set a simple 1-hour delay. This gives the system that brief window it needs to finish creating the user account first, ensuring the ID is ready and waiting when the badge assignment finally fires. Let's jump to Section 4, Scheduling Future Badges, Month 1 Milestones. Okay, let's look at exactly how we configure the action to add that very first badge. After setting up our 1-hour schedule, we add a Create a Record action. We name it Add Badge 1 and set the record type to User Badge. We're also going to use 2 really simple formula fields to handle the dates. For the assigned on date, the formula is just now, which captures the current date and time. For the due date, the formula is now plus 7, which automatically calculates a deadline exactly 7 days out. And finally, we use a field reference for the user field, setting it to user.id. This guarantees the badge goes directly to the specific new user who triggered the process in the first place. Real quick, before we move on to the next badges, I have a mandatory warning for your build. When you are filling in the badge ID in your action, you cannot just copy the ID you see in a tutorial. Badge IDs are entirely unique to your specific Salesforce instance. You absolutely must open a new browser tab, go to your Trail Tracker app, search for the specific module like Salesforce Cloud Benefits, and carefully copy that unique ID straight from the URL at the top of your page. Do not skip this step. And, this perfectly illustrates just how effortlessly this whole automation scales once you have that foundation in place.
For the rest of the month, you literally just repeat those exact same action steps, but you adjust your schedules and your unique badge IDs. For badge 2, you set a new scheduled action for 7 days after created date and assign the Salesforce user tour. For badge 3, you set the schedule for 14 days after created date to assign accounts and contacts. And for badge 4, you stretch it out to 30 days after creation date for the chatter module. Once activated, the system seamlessly takes over the whole shebang. It enrolls the user after their first hour and even emails them to let them know their learning journey has officially begun.
Finally, Section 5, Real-World Troubleshooting, Community Q&A.
As any seasoned admin will tell you, deployments almost never happen in a perfect vacuum. Sometimes the real world just throws a total curveball at your flawless logic. Take this excellent point from Giancarlo Amati. He mentions facing a slightly different use case. His team wanted to assign a welcome badge not when the account is created, but upon the user's first login. Logically, he tried to track the update event on the last login datetime field. However, he uncovered a really frustrating known limitation. Updating that specific login field doesn't actually generate an event that a flow or a process builder can catch. It's a great reminder that sometimes system limitations dictate our automation strategies, forcing us to stick with created date rather than login events. Here's another really practical hurdle, and this one was shared by Dave Roselle. He loves the workflow, but ran into an issue trying to assign learning modules to a new user before they've ever logged into Trailhead or My Trailhead for the very first time. Because they haven't logged in, they don't actually have a Trailblazer profile set up yet. It highlights a super important gap. Your internal Salesforce user account and their external Trailblazer profile absolutely need to be successfully linked for this tracking to work perfectly.
And finally, we have Jacob Salmon, who experienced the exact headache we were just warning you about earlier. He received a field integrity exception error stating that his badge ID value was of an incorrect type, despite taking the ID from the URL exactly as instructed. This really emphasizes just how finicky those 15 or 18 character IDs can be. A single accidental space, copying the wrong part of the URL string, or pulling from a sandbox instead of production can literally break the entire flow. Precision is absolutely critical when mapping those IDs.
Which brings us to our final thought. The technical build we explored today is incredibly powerful. By utilizing Process Builder, that clever 1-hour delay trick, and precise badge IDs, you can guarantee that every single new hire receives a beautifully paced 30-day curriculum the very moment their account is created. But here is the lingering question I want you to take away from this explainer. Your automation can seamlessly assign the badges right into their queue, but how will you motivate your human team to actually finish them? Automation handles the distribution, sure, but user adoption, well, that still requires your leadership. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and happy building.